afternoon, I'm Judge Reese, and I'll be hearing a case today, hearing on animal seizure. Have a seat. This is the State of Texas versus Paul Morales Jr. Do we have the state present? Mr. Morales, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and proceed, State.
Okay. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Today we are here on an animal seizure hearing. We are here on a hearing for an animal seizure that occurred on May 11th, 2024. 248 chickens and roosters were found to be cruelly confined and part of a cockfighting ring at the defendant's residence. We intend to call 3 witnesses, Your Honor, that will testify.
Okay. Go ahead and proceed and call your witnesses.
Okay. The first witness we wish to call is Lieutenant Snowden.
State your name and your position.
Lieutenant Bethany Snowden, and my position is the Special Operations Manager for the City of San Antonio Animal Care Services.
Okay. And you've already been sworn in, is that correct?
Yes, Your
Have a
Honor.
seat.
Ms. Snowden, how long have you worked for Animal Care Services?
I have worked for the City of San Antonio Animal Care Services for 7 years.
And what is your experience in animal seizures?
I have an extensive background with seizures working for the City of San Antonio.
And were you on duty on May 11th, 2024?
I was.
And
Actually, can I correct that? I was not on duty. I am a salaried employee, so I did come in.
okay. And just walk me through that day. What happened on that day?
City of San Antonio Animal Care Services had received an anonymous tip on May 10th pertaining to a cockfighting event that was occurring. When we looked up the address, it was outside of our jurisdiction, so we had notified Bexar County Sheriff's Department of the event and told them for May 11th that they needed additional assistance, that we would be there for backup to help.
And where was this?
The address of the property?
Yes, if you remember.
26024 Sandcliff Drive.
And what did you observe when you went to the property, correct?
I did go to the property, yes.
And what did you observe there?
When my team and myself made location, we had observed multiple birds in wooden boxes, anywhere from a single house bird in a wooden box up to 4 to 6 birds in those wooden boxes. The boxes were all different shapes and sizes, and they were located all throughout the back of the property.
No further questions at this time.
Okay. Mr. Morales, you have the right to also ask questions of the witness, so I'm going to go ahead and pass the witness over to you. Have any questions for the witness at the stand?
When you arrived out there at the property, you said you were there, but then you said that you weren't there. And well, did you find any dead chickens there? Did you find any evidence that there was any kind of activity, event going on, cockfighting?
So can you repeat the first question so I can answer your first question?
Can I ask my first question?
Can you repeat it for me, please?
I can't.
They'd like for you to repeat the first question, Mr. Morales.
Okay.
Thank you.
You said you were there, but then you said that you were not there. And I just want to know if there was any roosters, chickens, eggs, baby chicks fighting there.
So for the first question, to clarify, I am a salaried employee. My work schedule is Monday through Friday. However, I am on call on Saturday and Sunday. So when I was told that we would be needing assistance to provide to Bexar County, I did come in and I was at your property on May 11th, which was a Saturday.
What was the address on that property?
If I'm not mistaken, it's 26024 Sandcliff Drive.
And I think, and your address is on your, and then, did you have a warrant to come on my place? Or did anybody have a warrant to come on my place? All they said, I had the gate open, I was barbecuing in the front, had some of these officers that were there, barbecuing in the front, they came in there, busting in there, scared me. My kids were out there riding the four-wheelers, riding around, and if I knew that there was any kind of activity going on, man, I would have locked my gate. And these guys have been there since y'all said y'all had surveillance on my place. These guys were there since 7 o'clock in the morning. Don't you think from that time to that time they would have did something? No, they were auctioning off chickens, eggs, chickens, baby chicks.
Mr. Morales, I'm going to ask you to ask a question, not state a statement, because those are statements on your behalf. So you have the right to ask additional questions, but they have to be in question form. Do you have any other questions for the witness?
Okay, the animals that y'all took from my house, they're still alive.
The animals the ones that are in the city of San Antonio Animal Care Services that we have at our residence, they are still alive.
Is there any way I can get them back? I love my chickens. And they were no threat whatsoever. They didn't have no knives on them, no gas on them, nothing on them. I would like to have all my chickens back because they mean a lot to me. And I never fought none of my chickens. You can probably see, or if y'all examine my chickens, I don't know where fought. They've gotten bitten by dogs, yes.
Okay.
And I took care of them.
Mr. Morales, I'm going to ask you to come back and ask a question of the witness. Again, you're making statements,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
I'll allow you to make the statements at the very end, but right now, if you have a question for the witness, that would be what you would need to do at this point. And then what I'm going to do after that, I'll pass it back over for follow-up. Any other questions, Mr. Morales?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, any follow-up state with this witness?
No further questions.
Okay, all right, you may step down. Thank you. Okay, next witness.
Okay, the state would like to call Sergeant Jay Hernandez.
State your name and your position with the sheriff's office.
I'm a sergeant with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. I'm John Hernandez.
Have a seat, sir.
Sergeant Hernandez, how long have you had your position for?
This CID position that I'm in right now, since March of this year.
Since March of this year. Were you on duty May 10th, 2024?
Yes.
So you were on duty May 10th, 2024. Just walk me through that day. What happened? What you experienced?
After initially getting the tip from ACS, all that information got dispersed amongst the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. So our gang unit was advised, our organized crime unit was advised. So everybody was there and was informed. So they're the ones that set up the surveillance earlier that day for that address. And that's.
Are you aware who was on the helicopter flight?
Yes, he's one of our deputies. Vera is his last name.
And did Deputy Vera, did he communicate with you anything that he observed?
The day prior, yes, he did advise that after flying over that property, which from the address that he had given us, that he saw multiple chicken A-frame type coops that were housing and I guess some type of birds.
Did he say anything else about observations regarding the chicken closures?
Other than the video he provided, he didn't provide any statement other than just the video.
on duty May 11th, 2024?
Yes.
On May 11th, 2024, what happened that day?
Again, all that information got dispersed amongst our different units. So I know that our organized crime unit handled their own investigation as far as surveillance and things like that. So they went out there, they did their surveillance, they communicated back and forth, and then from there, after they saw quite a few vehicles enter with trailers into the property, that's when they advised that we should probably go in there before any of the animals get hurt, or being the it looked like what they were setting up was the cockfighting ring.
You mentioned going into the property was a search and seizure warrant completed.
Yes, prior to any entry into the property, yes.
When was the search and seizure warrant completed?
It was on the morning of May 11th.
Yeah. Okay. And you were on scene, correct?
Yes, correct.
When you arrived to the property, what were your first observations?
I was one of the last people in the convoy of vehicles that arrived, so the only thing that I actually saw was a gentleman right here, as well as some people running from the area.
How many individuals would you say were present at the property?
I would say over 30, for sure.
Approximation?
Yes.
Was there anything out of the ordinary that stood out to you?
Walking back towards the interior of the property, there were multiple rings that are commonly used for cockfighting rings. A lot of paraphernalia was found later on, as far as gaffs and merchandise that had roosters on it. It looks like they were trying to set up some sort of event.
You mentioned gaffs. What is a gaff?
Gaff is the type of knife that is used, that is attached to a rooster during fights.
Is it common practice that gaffs are attached to roosters?
No, from my knowledge, no.
What about for fighting?
Yes.
So common practice for fighting, gaffs are attached. Anything else in particular that you saw?
Other than that, not that I can recall right now.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Morales, do you have any questions for this witness, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and proceed.
I didn't know it was against the law to have people come over and with trailers in my house. I didn't know that was against the law, that you have a trailer attached to your truck coming to my place. I got cattle.
Objection, Your
Okay.
Honor, this is just a
Yeah,
statement.
Mr. Morales, you need to ask a question. This is where you ask the question of the witness. You will have an opportunity to make those statements at the
That was just popping into
Yeah,
my head, I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. But you need to ask a question in reference to, you just heard testimony and questions that the state just asked. So you have the opportunity right now to ask questions to this witness today.
Did you see me, did y'all see with any gas on me or knives?
You
And-
know.
No, I mean, okay. Was I trying to make the roosters fight?
You know. Not when I was there.
Okay.
Any other questions, Mr. Morales?
Maybe I can, I don't know, I don't know if I'm gonna tell him what I was telling him earlier or whatever, I just wanted to ask you one more question. And-
All right, ask him a question. You're able to ask a question.
Okay. Was there any illegal stuff going on at my place?
You had illegal paraphernalia on the property, yes.
Okay, but not on me, right?
Not on you that I found. But I didn't search you, so I can't say yes or no.
And it is against the law to have a benefit and have a poultry show.
I went based upon the warrant that was signed by the judge, and the warrant says that we were allowed on that property.
Okay, well, how come I was the first one when they came in? How come y'all didn't give me the warrant? I did not receive any warrant until all y'all left the property. They put me in jail, and never had, my wife was kept there from this time to this time, until y'all went in there, if anything would have been happening, it would have happened.
Ms. Morales, what is your question? What is the question you have for this officer?
Well, the question was there anything? And I told me yes,
And the
yeah.
answer was there was a warrant issued prior to that by another judge, yes.
How come I didn't receive it when they busted into, well, they didn't bust my gates open, my gates were already open. How come they did not give me a warrant? And when they came in, where they at? If they were having surveillance on my place, they would have known where they were at.
Is that a question for the witness?
Yes, sir.
What's
If
your
I
question?
had a warrant for my place, and they were having surveillance in there, they should have known where all those people were at.
Judge.
You want to ask it a little differently, just in reference to, you're asking specifically the officer, the warrant that they had
Was never.
wasn't presented to you immediately, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you can answer that, if you then go ahead and proceed. If you're not able to answer that and someone else can, you can answer it to Mr. Morales.
The investigator assigned to this case can better, say what he needs to about the warrant. But the warrant was signed prior to entering your residence and the property, not the residence, but the property itself. So the warrant was given to your wife, because I was there present for that, as the investigator gave the warrant to your wife after you had been placed in custody and transported out of the property. So,
One more question. I heard that y'all gave it to her when y'all were leaving. So that's about how many hours from there that I was supposed to have received that warrant?
as long as the warrant is signed and it is documented within our,
Okay, when you present yourself, hey, I'm a police officer.
Mr. Morales, let him finish his answer, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, excuse me, sorry.
That's okay.
as long as the warrant is signed by the judge and is entered into our system, then we have every right to go into the property after that. And then the investigator decided to give it at the end, at the conclusion of his investigation, after he found out who the actual property owners are, tenants, and so on.
Well, the property owner has never knocked on his door, and the address is known, and my father-in-law they never told him anything, he didn't even know nothing about it, he was asleep.
Okay, is that a question? Is that a question or a statement? Okay,
Well,
okay. Are you, any more questions, Mr. Morales?
no, ma'am.
Okay, all right, a state follow-up.
No further questions.
All right, you may step down.
The state would like it to call its next witness, animal cruelty investigator Jay Mendez.
State your name and your position.
This is Mendez, I'm property friends with CID.
Okay, and you've been previously sworn in, is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct? Have a
Yes,
seat.
Thank you for being here. How long have you held your position in employment?
I've been with the Barrett County Sheriff's Office 31 years, as far as investigations, 7 years.
Investigation 7. Were you on duty May 10th, 2024?
Yes, sir. May 10th, yes, I was, but I did not know of this incident until May 11th. No, I'm sorry, let me take it back. I was advised later on that evening, on May 10th, of the allegations.
Were you on duty May 11th?
Yes, I was.
So what happened May 11, 2024, around approximately 11 a.m.?
I was advised by my sergeant, Sergeant Hernandez, of the information he received. He was able to obtain a search warrant and a seizure warrant. At that point, we met, and I was advised we were to conduct surveillance on the property. At that time, we felt that it was time to go in because we got information that a lot of people were starting to show up, and to prevent, the injuries to any type of animals, and also safety, of course. We decided to proceed onto the property, and as we made entry, the first units went to the back, and at that point, Sergeant Hernandez and I were in the same vehicle. We made contact with Mr. Morales after he was detained.
You mentioned the property, do you recall the address?
The address that was on the search warrant, I can't recall the exact numbers on it, but it was on Sandcliff.
Does 26024 Sandcliff,
Correct.
that was the address. So you said you made contact with Mr. Paul Morales, is that
Correct.
correct? And what did Mr. Morales tell you?
In interviewing, I Mirandized him first, and then interviewing him, he's claimed to me that his brothers or stepbrothers that he only knew by the name of Chilango and two other people had coordinated the event that day, and 2 weeks prior that they were there setting up the location for the show.
Did Mr. Morales tell you he lives on the property?
Yes, he said that the the property does belong to his father-in-law, I believe, Mr. Newton, but he also lived on the property.
Did Mr. Morales ever take ownership of the
He
chickens?
stated that since he allowed him onto his property, that he would take responsibility for it.
So you were there on the property when the search and seizure.
Correct.
What were some things that you observed?
Well, I observed numerous roosters in boxes and bins, and then towards the back there was the display of merchandise with rooster emblems and so forth that we were selling there. We found gas. We found there was a trophy. There was two rings that were commonly used for cockfighting, and there was even the trophy out there. They found the chart, I guess, so they put names down. Measure the height sticks to measure the height of the chickens, scales, B12 that they commonly use to inject the roosters with, and other paraphernalia of that sort.
Did you see any chickens that were in enclosures? Or?
Yes, there was numerous chicken enclosures.
About approximately how many chicken roosters were seized?
According to ACS, between the Bexar County Animal Control Service and San Antonio, I believe it was a total of 248 chickens and 4 chicks, and I think several eggs.
I know I read in your report there were a couple chickens that had a few minor injuries.
Yeah, well, apparently officers, I just can't remember which deputy it was, but saying that there was 2 roosters that appeared to have injury to the beak and then to the foot. Now, I can't say if that was because of the involvement of cockfighting, but when I approached those chickens and I took photographs, it was very minor injuries.
Your Honor, I would like to show some photographs to Investigator Mendez.
Okay, proceed. State Exhibit 1.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to mark this as State's Exhibit A.
So I've provided a couple photographs. Investigator Mendez, do you mind looking over those? Do you know who took those photos?
I did.
You took those photos?
Yes.
Okay. Do they fairly and accurately represent what the scene looked like on that day?
Yes, these are the items that we were able to locate on the property. As far as even these coupons, these tickets, we found several inside Mr. Morales' hand pocket, almost fund money. He did state that his job was to give us a ticket to the people, the attendees, and they would go to the back, he would direct them to the back.
Okay. And then photograph number 2?
thread that they use, commonly used to wrap the gas on the chickens, rooster feet. Scissors, scales, is to weigh the roosters themselves.
So in your training experience, you believe those are used for chicken?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, we'd like to introduce some more photos.
Okay. Go ahead, hand those to me so I can- I'm marking this as State Exhibit A. If you can mark that, and I'm gonna have the defendant review the exhibits as well, unless you have an additional copy for them. This is gonna be marked State's Exhibit B. Let me get that marked over.
So Ms. Hernandez, I'm giving you a collection of photographs. Did you take these photos?
No, our crime scene unit do.
Okay, your crime scene unit, were they on scene during
They
the-
arrived on scene upon request.
Okay. Did those photos fairly and accurately depict what you observed that day?
Correct. Yes.
Your Honor, we wish to introduce the photographs and evidence.
All right. For the State Exhibit B, let's go ahead and mark those.
So in those photographs, what did you just look at?
Look at the pins that were at, the chart that I believe they were using to mark down the names that were the attendees. The trophy that says cockfighting champ has that date, May 11, 2024 on it. The roosters.
And based on your experience and training, you believe all of
Yes.
these are indicated chicken fighting?
Yes.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Morales, you now have an opportunity to cross the witness and ask him some questions. Would you, and you have these exhibits here, and I'll leave them here in the event you need to use those. We have State Exhibit B, just we'll leave those there, and if he needs those for his class, go ahead and take those both over there too. And then you may proceed with your questioning, Mr. Morales.
Okay. Yes, they found these on me, the tickets, and also the barbecue I was doing, and,
Questions, sir.
Objection.
So you're making a statement.
Oh,
It
okay.
would have to be a question form for the officer that's sitting here in reference to the questioning that just took place. If you have questions for the witness, ask it in question form, okay?
okay. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna ask you a question or whatever, but like all these knives, they're still in the package, they're still, you know,
Oh, we found some that were loose as well.
what that?
We found some that were loose as well on the property.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I was just like, there's some here that are in brand new packages here, it looks like. Right there,
Yes.
but they were not in the chicken block, right?
No.
So,
Okay, any other question? Any other questions?
So Officer Hernandez mentioned that they came onto the property before the fighting had actually started, correct?
Correct.
Can you talk about where the birds were located on the property?
As soon as we drove into the gate, it's a large property, several acres. There was some birds to the left, in front of the property. There were troops and stuff. Then towards the rear, where we located I think we made contact with about 50 or so people in the back. That's where there were bins. There were some of them were in the back of vehicles and so forth. So majority of the other ones were in the back.
So they were near this kind of arena setting and near all the paraphernalia that you
Yes,
found?
correct.
And what, you said they were on the back of trucks as well?
Yes, there were some trailers and so forth in the back.
And how were they being held?
They were in wooden bins or, I guess you could say coops, little boxes with a hole on them. There were some in the wire type of cages as well.
Were there sometimes multiple birds in one box or cage?
Yes, there was multiple birds in some of the boxes. Correct.
No further questions.
The judge has a question. Now, I've heard 240 chickens. Big difference between chickens and roosters.
Yes.
How many chickens, how many roosters?
Oh, I didn't get that number on.
So you don't have because I heard 2 roosters, but 240 chickens.
No, there's multiple roosters.
Okay.
It was the ones that appeared to maybe have minor injury were 2
Okay.
roosters.
So would you say it was more than 50%?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Would you say it's more than 75% roosters?
I believe so, yes.
We just want to clarify the chicken
Yes.
rooster definition, because the roosters are roosters, and chickens lay eggs. And so some are going to be egg laying, and the other ones will be the roosters
Yes.
that are in question at this point.
Okay, let me clarify. The ones that were in the back were roosters. Now, the ones that were in the front were a mixture of roosters and...
So out of the 240 identified animals that were seized, what percentage of the 240 would be roosters?
I'm estimating about 80%.
80%?
Yes.
And when you view this seized animals or fowl at this point, there wasn't any that were dead?
Not that I observed.
That you
No,
circumcised.
no.
All right. And those that were seized, would you say that out of the 240 were in cages? What's the percentage that were in cages out of the 240?
They were all in cages that I
But
observed.
were they small cages or were they in chicken coops?
No, they were like boxed
Okay. They were in containers?
containers,
Okay.
correct. Yes.
All right. And not necessarily the chicken coop
No.
type of A-frame where they live underneath and they
No,
they
more
roost
like
on top?
transport.
Transported, okay. So they were in transported containers?
Containers, correct.
Okay, very good, all right. So what was that percentage again?
As far as I can recall, probably about 80%.
80%, okay. All right. So they were brought from one area to another? Would you say it was transported? Or what would you say the environment was at that time? That they were brought in from a different area, or that was just a
Some
container?
appear to be brought in, as far as I can see. Some were just on the property, so I can't
I
say
see.
if they were
Okay.
brought in or not.
All right, I just wanted to clarify those
Yes.
couple of things for me. Okay. State breath?
Yes.
Okay.
state.
You're done with this witness then?
Yes.
Is that correct? All right. So you can step up. All right. Okay. State, you have any other witnesses that you'd like to call?
No other witnesses.
Okay. All right, Mr. Morales, you now have the opportunity, the state has called its witnesses, and now you have the opportunity, sir, to call a witness. Do you have any witnesses that you'd like to call at this time?
I get it, my wife.
You want to call your wife as a witness? Okay, have her stand up, have her sworn in.
She's been sworn in.
She has, okay, have us come up over here, Ms. Morales. State your name, full name,
Lisa Newton.
and what is your relationship to the defendant?
Our relationship together, and we have a son together.
Are you married? Are you?
Legally, no.
Okay, all right, just
Sorry.
all right. Have a seat then. All right, Mr. Morales, go ahead and proceed. What is your with your questioning.
I didn't want to tell my wife if these people had a warrant coming on.
Okay, just ask her the question. You can ask it in question form, sir.
What I just asked.
I was never presented a warrant at the time, and at the time, 6 to 7 hours later, when it was presented with the incorrect address. My father owns the property. They never knocked on his door. He was inside sleeping the whole time. The address is 26003 Sand Cliff Drive, Lot 9, San Antonio, Texas 78264. It's also a Bear County appraisal goes by in our United States postal address.
Any other questions for the witness?
They were also riding our own personal ATVs. When asked why they were riding them, they got the response of they can, because they can. I thought that was very inappropriate. They did let me know that they did park them later, and I had some lateral lines, I believe, that have damage because water was coming out of our lateral lines, and I had to call Bear County back out there and make another for damage to the property. Sorry.
Any other questions, Mr. Morales, for Ms. Newell? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and have State Cross.
Will you state your name, please?
Lisa Newton.
Lisa Newton. Okay, where do you reside?
At that property, 26003 Sand Cliff Drive, Lot 9.
Do you have any proof of address?
I have my, yes, I have my ID, my driver's license.
Okay. Do you mind if we see that?
Go get it now.
Yes, go ahead and step in information.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Were you there that day on the property?
I was at home.
You were at home? Were you aware of what was going on?
I was aware that we were gonna have, be barbecuing and have a poultry show. It's not something we really not people that do anything bad or wrong. I'm a crafter, so I mean, it's not anything that, we were having a poultry show. I had understood that we were dealing with chickens.
What do you mean by poultry show?
I'm not familiar with it. I couldn't define it. I just know that there was supposed to be nothing going on as far as any kind of what is being accused of.
So was it just something that Mr. Morales told you, like, we're going to have a poultry show on this day?
Well, I mean, we're having a gathering, we're gonna have a barbecue, okay.
How did you know that there was going to be a poultry show?
You said we're gonna have a barbecue.
Right, but you mentioned that there was a poultry show going on. How did you?
I had understood it to be like that.
But it could have been something else.
No, that's, I don't know, something like that in the house.
So nobody specifically told you it was a poultry show?
Not specifically, I'd understood it to be a poultry show. I don't know anything, I don't do chickens.
Have you seen this document?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, can you tell me what this is?
It's a property receipt.
Property receipt. And you knew that they took all these items, correct?
I was not aware until they handed me the warrant with that paperwork. And I also understand that that is not our stuff on that paper. We do have chickens that were up in the front that were taken that had nothing to do with anything, and I still don't understand that. And, I mean, I was told, as it told me, but I kept asking for the warrant, and I kept being told it was finalized, and I said, no, you're giving it to me after the fact. Here is the warrant. But that was I didn't know that until I got handed that when the warrant was handed to.
So the warrant was handed to you.
6 hours later.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, I do have a question. I want to clarify something, because you said a poultry show. Give me the definition of what a poultry show is.
In my understanding, and I wouldn't, honestly, I'm not familiar with anything, I would think it was where people were just showing off chickens.
That we're showing off
Or
chickens or showing off roosters?
I'll be honest with you, ma'am, I'm not familiar with any of that kind of thing.
Because I think, you know, when you say a poultry show,
I'm
that's,
thinking you're gonna compare chickens, you know,
yeah.
and,
And how do they compare them?
I'm not familiar with
You're not
that.
familiar with how they
I'm a
compare them?
crafter.
Okay, so you're unfamiliar with, okay. And so, and because, you know, the court, the judge, I need to understand what the
I
definition
just
of a
understood
poultry
it was
show
gonna be
for.
a barbecue and, it didn't,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, when you say poultry, I guess I just think chickens and I don't think nothing.
Well,
of
it was just used that the definition is used right now as a poultry show. I wanted to clarify what a poultry show is. What is it, you know, and that being said, why they were enclosed in carrying cases, how is the process of showing them is what I'm trying to clarify.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with
Okay.
it. I just know we do have our chickens are up front in their own personal cages, and I didn't understand why those were even, if there was an issue or if there was suspicion, why were our chickens even touched? That's all.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to clarify that for the court. I wanted to understand what a poultry show was. You're not familiar with what that includes.
Honestly,
So you've told the court that, and also you're unfamiliar with why they were in carrying cages.
why
There was
would
about
they-
80% of them, and so that's what I wanted to clarify. Because I just want to make sure that everyone understands, this is a hearing today for cruelty of animals and the animal seizure. So I want to make sure I understand the entire story, not just a portion of it.
I mean, I understand if you gotta transport chickens, yeah, they gotta be in some type of something, and you can't just ride down the street with them in your lap, and they're gonna be flapping all over the place. But, I don't know, that's,
Well, I'm a farm girl myself.
I'm like,
So I'm
I
from the
just know,
south
I ain't
side,
gonna
so
sit around
I
with a
know a
chicken
little
on my
bit
lap.
about farm animals, and so that's why I'm asking in reference to were these in carrying cases brought from somewhere else, or these actually animals that are yours?
Apparently it was both, but our chickens in the front that are at the front, they're plenty to see. Ours was taken along with eggs, and the baby chicks were born later with no mom, so hawks are getting them. I just know that our chickens up front.
Well, I'm more interested in
Yeah.
the ones that were in the carrying
I
cages.
know, I mean, I seen them in the box.
Are those were on your property, but were they personally, were they your property? Or they were brought in from a
Others were
different
brought
source?
in from different sources.
Okay, very good. All right, I don't have any other questions. Okay. Mr. Morales, you had an opportunity to ask questions. Usually we don't defer, but I will allow you to ask one more question at this point.
And this one, they also had,
Question,
puppies.
question,
They had
que-
puppies.
question. A question to the witness.
The puppies that they left in the cage back in the back, that they didn't notify nobody. How long did it take for us to find those dogs? Like a day? Or two?
I actually, they did notify me that they could not take the dogs. And we said we try to find the rightful owner. But I'll be honest with you, I forgot about
And
it.
why were those dogs there? Why were those dogs there for? Did you like when you told that guy, but you have to buy a ticket?
They were gonna raffle them.
What was that?
Raffle or just sell them or something, I don't know.
Okay, very good. Any, go ahead and have, sit down, Ms. Mr. Morales, do you have any other witnesses that you'd want to present? No.
ma'am.
All right, at this point, I'm going to allow the state to provide their closing argument, and then I'll pass over to you so that you can also provide your closing argument and statement.
So, Your Honor, we heard today from the three officers, Snowden, Mendez, and Hernandez, and they told you about an anonymous tip they got about a cockfighting event that was happening with the defendant's property. They told you how they came to the property and found a lot of paraphernalia that was consistent with cockfighting, and how there were roosters surrounding this area, and they were confined in a manner that is not reasonable. So we ask that the animals be donated, or we ask that you find the animals were cruelly treated or confined, and that they be donated.
Mr. Morales, now you have an opportunity. The state is asking that the animals be ordered to be given to, is it to a municipality or a county animal as far as donation, a nonprofit? Is that what the state is asking?
Yes, Your Honor, nonprofit, or in all case, the zoo, so that other animals may be.
Also, question before you, I go over to Mr. Morales for his closing. Are there any fines or any type of a cost per day that was accrued during this during the seizure and to date? Anything for medical treatments, not any type of boarding fees, any type of
No fees, Your Honor.
okay, so the state's not asking for that, is that correct? Okay, all right, Mr. Morales, go ahead.
Okay, y'all saying that these chickens were in, I think that roosters were in a box, but they couldn't breathe. They didn't have no ventilation on them or anything like that. I mean, can you explain?
Okay, no. You make a closing statement in reference to the request wanting them to be adopted.
I do not want my chickens donated. I want my chickens back at my house.
So the question portion is over. Whatever statement you have the opportunity to state to the court, to the judge today, what your argument is in reference to the state's request for having them adopted or sent over to perhaps the San Antonio Zoo. Okay, so finish, sir. We're closing.
It's like cattle. We gotta cage them up, transport them. Dogs, they put them in little dog cages to transport them. And now they're saying that I'm doing cruelty, or they're doing cruelty to these roosters that are in boxes, which their instinct is, or it's in their nature to fight. And if you let them loose, and that's what happened, that's why there's two birds that got hurt or whatever, animal cruelty was there, or animal control, and we were trying to put them out the box, a few of them got loose. And what did they do? They started fighting each other. Other than that, there would not be no fighting there. And the pokey show is where they weigh the roosters, the breed, the bloodline, and they show them off in the arena. And they go by, you know, by the feathers, they go by the way the rooster, the cut of the legs, the genes, where they come from. And most of these chickens come up from the north. And what we do, I sell my chickens to Mexico. And there's some people that come and buy them and take them from here to Mexico. That's why some of these people have hen roosters to make a little bit extra money and to feed these animals. You know, all my dogs that they saw, my dogs did not bite. My dogs were not vicious. I have pit bulls on there. I have a few pit bull dogs that are on my property, that are my dogs. And I have some other dogs that were there. There's nothing vicious on my yard. And these people are making it sound like we put these chickens in these boxes, and I'm pretty sure they got some kind of ventilation. Because these chickens are worth a lot of money to them, to me. People that come and buy from my chickens. We're not fighting the chickens. All I ask is, if they would have been fighting there, and then it's a different story. But my chickens, none of the chickens, even these guys that transported these chickens in my place, they were not fought. And if there would have been a cockfighting thing going on, it would have been happening already. But there wasn't. That's why I let them have it in my house. And they 2 weeks prior, they came and built the thing. Y'all can go to the diamond and tore it down, so y'all can go see all these new screws and boards that they put on there. But that they won't say that these pin fighting rings didn't. They're not. And they said that they've been surveying it. This lady, one of the sheriff ladies, I've been doing it for 4 years. How come nobody came out to my door and told me, hey, you need to quit doing that? And that's another lie. And then they found drugs. And then all the weapons that they seized from, or they didn't seize them. All the weapons that they got from there, they were all my weapons.
Okay. Let me ask you a quick question. Mr. Morales, you said that the roosters were of great value to people here and to other areas of the country. What is the value of a rooster? With the descriptions that you gave about the design of the feathers and how they stand, things of that sort.
The bloodline.
Yeah, the bloodline.
Yes, ma'am. They're from like 1,500 to 2,000, even up higher than that.
And what is the manner in which, because I had asked a question earlier, what is a poultry show?
A poultry show is where they see what bloodline they come from, the people that raise them, and they have trophies for the 4 best, or 5 or 6, depending on the poultry show. Sometimes they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 8. And whoever's got the best 4 roosters.
How do they determine who's got the best?
The people from Mexico,
How do they determine that? How do you determine that this rooster is a better bloodline than the other?
because the cockfighters from Mexico, let me tell you, they come and buy from these people all the time. And these people are going to go show up their birds so everybody can buy them and start breeding them so they can sell good birds to these people.
Okay.
And it's an organization, you know.
Yeah. No?
Organization.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Morales?
Yes, ma'am, I don't want whatever birds they took from my yard, 3,000, 4,000 birds, whatever, I want them all back.
Any response, Steve?
So, Mr. Morales, you said it was a poultry show, correct?
Sure.
But yet your wife did not know about the poultry show?
it's not a woman thing, it's a guy thing. And, but if there would have been a cockfighting thing there, I would have told her. Because what is? It was a poker show, everything was cool. Barbecuing, having a good time, drinking beer. Kids running around with four-wheelers. You think there'll be a cockfight? You think they want the four-wheelers running around there? I don't think so. But there was nothing going on. We were cooking back there, and you can ask the officers back there, they were cooking back there, raffling off a bunch of stuff, and
Okay.
my wife sells cups,
Yeah.
shirts. Like that shirt I got arrested on. She got us covered with the instrument. She made it.
All right.
And I was just, at that time, I was advertising my wife's arts and crafts.
All right, any other response to the court?
Your Honor, he mentioned poultry show, but all the evidence pertains to cockfighting, the arenas, the trophies, the manner in which the gaffs, the manner in which the chickens and roosters were kept in the arena. So I just want to point out that.
Okay. And I'll let you make one more statement before I go forward.
Okay, the gaffs and the knives, I understand that they raffled them off. A lot of people collect them. They're collectibles. And they collect all of this, what do you call it, paraphernalia or whatever. It's like a cup, it's like a shirt. Everybody collects it, like boots, spurs. You know, you use a spur on a horse, you're gonna tear the horse up too. So everybody, spurs. When you whoop a cow, or you hurt the cow too. I know because I do it. Hurt it, tear the skin up. And hurts the animal. So that is all collectible. I can say it's all collectible because they had a show there in my house.
Okay.
Not an event, it was a poultry show.
This isn't really all about the gaffs, Mr. Morales. It's more about the animals and in reference to the seizure and what the disposition of those animals are going to be now. So that being said, I'm prepared to go forward with my finding. And I did find that there was cruel treatment. I'm going to order that the animal be given to a municipality or county animal shelter or a nonprofit animal welfare organization. And so that is my finding today. I'm going to set the appeal bond for $24,000. You have the right to appeal, Mr. Morales. You have 21 days to appeal the judgment from today's ruling.
I didn't understand what you said now.
I said you have the right to appeal. You have 21 days to appeal. The appeal bond is going to be set at $24,000. You'll get that information for appeal outside by the windows, and they can provide you with that information if that's what you decide to do. We're done. Your excuse.
So I have to hear that's it. If I read it. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so on this one here, we need for it to be the order to be placed under section 2, and the bonds will be, the bonds will be set. Did you already scan this? Yeah, but I need to have that placed in the order.
Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Well, this is my spirit. So, that was peacock.
Do you have any information?
Oh, no, not at all. You're welcome.
I know they're not
first.
Such great quality.
Yeah, it's public information.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
There we go.
You're the best.
All right. Yeah, you're gonna need to insert that so that they have that.
Yeah, I can't go down that hall.
Oh, that's why they can.
That's why I couldn't come down.
Hello,
How
how
are
are you? Good, how about you?
Hey, you're right, you do clean up good.
See, he does. We've been
Because the last time I saw you,
I had
you
the
were,
longer hair, yeah.
yeah,
I had
it
to
looks good, it looks good.
I
yeah.
like it, it looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's growing in nice.
Okay,
But-
good.
Yep.
So-
I'm still trying to get, they want me to do something every day, so I haven't been able to do the Alvena case. But
Yeah,
I'm
that
still,
one's an interesting one. And the Huey,
Mhm.
the Huey one is down at the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
You know, they came in, I think I had a second one where they wanted to do just the violations, and so I just dismissed it because it was the same thing as the first one. The first one was still towing, so, yeah, so.
yeah, so I'm hoping I can get it done, but if they keep, giving me
Yeah.
stuff, I'm gonna have to hand it off to somebody else, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still in contact with her, so I'm still talking to her.
Okay. Oh, good, all right, well, good. It's good to see you. Your menu at Linda's is a hit.
Yes, I hear. Yami tells me, she
He's
told
got the-
me.
Do you know my bailiff,
Hi.
Lopez? Yeah.
Ethan Trago, nice to meet you.
Anyhow, he's got a menu at Linda's. Yeah.
No, we went to Linda's Cafe, we went to lunch, and I put an enchilada and a tortilla, and I put everything in
And
it.
rice and everything.
And
I've
Yami,
seen that.
yeah,
No, that's the thing.
yeah, Yami
It's
posted it, and
delicious.
it blew up on Facebook. So,
And now you have your own.
so now I have my own taco named after me.
Are you serious?
Are y'all still live with us right now?
No, 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 no.
Yeah, because they're. Oh, okay, because they said we were still live.
Oh,